Welcome to the Argyre Planitia Grand Tour. In this one we'll be looking at the anomalies and artifacts I discovered over the past 2.5 to 3 years. This is the outline of Argyre Planitia, and we'll be looking at all these sites where I discovered anomalies and artifacts. Alright, in the first Grand Tour we had a look at Argyre Planitia, which is this vast plain located at the equator of Mars. We find the InSight lander there, as well as the rover Curiosity. Also had a look at the anomalies that are located near the pins. So let's go ahead and have a look at this region down in the southern mid-latitudes of Mars, which is called Argyre Planitia. It's a vast plain, folks. Let's measure just how big this area is. It's about 1,600 by about 1,400 kilometers. And I think I'm going to divide this up into quadrants so that I don't get lost and skip anything, folks. So let's divide it up. There's the first one, and then let's draw a line through the center there. Alright, let's check out the top left quadrant, and we'll start there. Let's have a look at the discoveries. That's where I found that strange anomaly that looks like the Millennium Falcon or something like the Baltic Sea anomaly. It's very symmetrical. It's got a disk with these two rectangular parts in front of it, arranged parallel to one another, and there's also a right angle there to this one piece, folks. And found this huge disk. It's about 12 meters in diameter. Standing on its edge, you can see the shadow it casts there. Could that be a hole with this being a hatch? Who knows? And then this tall, narrow object there. It looks like a monolith. Check it, the long shadow it casts, standing perpendicular to the surface underneath it. And then find a lot of these folks with these protrusions or holes in their centers. Check out these two parts, very bright. Looks like it's similar type of material, and these two parts looked as if they fitted together. Look at the angles there. Right, over here, check at these two rectangular parts. That there's about 12 meters wide, and this one is about 10 meters wide. Parallel to one another, check that out. Straight edges and right angles as well. All strange parts over there. Check out the jagged edge on that part. Looks like a megalithic block there in the background. And then plenty of alignment. Yeah, we've got 3 objects in a row there. Strange bevel parallel to this side. Half a dome in the center of that piece. With 2 dark spots on either side of it. Looks like another one of those obelisk-shaped anomalies, folks. There we've got another 3 dark spots in a row. To get the equal distance between those. This is a strange piece as well with the right angles to it. I'm going to go through these very briefly, folks. There's so many anomalies to cover. Let's just go ahead. When I see something interesting, I'll explain a bit. There we've got a long narrow part. It's got parallel sides, rounded edge over here. Slightly rounded off to the back. It's unusual. More megalithic slabs and blocks. Another one of those jagged pieces Get these straight edges there. Another 3 objects in a row. There's a triangle on that one, folks. Check it, the 3 dark spots. More of these objects with holes or protrusions in their centers. And this type of arrangement we've seen quite often, a rectangular base or larger part at the bottom with a little triangular object on the top over to the one side. Strange V shape in this oval piece. The hole there corresponding to the V shape. Three more objects arranged in a triangular pattern on that. And then another block. This one's got a wedge shape to it. Another rectangular piece here. Check out the right angle there. Long narrow part with this small piece sticking off to the right. Looks almost like a fossil. Who knows what that is, but that there's about 8 meters long, folks. 2 rectangular parts. It looks as if this possibly fits into that there. Look at that right angle. Another rectangular part here, folks. There we've got 5 smaller objects arranged around that part there in a circular pattern. Get the corresponding 2 on either side of it. And then that one there off to the center. More parts. This one's got a little sphere in its center. Check that, another one of those partial dome or spherical objects in the center on that one. And this is also rather strange. It looks like a little craft parked there on the top of this. That there's about 4 meters across, but in its center it's got that little dome. More parts with stuff on top of them. There's another 3 protrusions or knobs in a row on that one, parallel to this side. And we see that quite often. This object's got like a tombstone shape to it. Check out that dark spot in the center line of that object. 4 small parts arranged in a square on top of that one. It looks like a little obelisk anomaly on top of that, right there in its center again. More rectangular parts. This is a strange piece. It's very similar to this one. It's got like a rounded design to it with the part coming off to the one side. On that there is a hole that looks like a little square object inside it. Here's another one of those rectangular parts with a little triangle on top of it. That there looks like sheet metal. The sharp edge on that. Disc shape with a little protrusion in its center. Small rectangular part parallel to this one edge. There looks like it's covering possibly an entranceway. It's got like an arch shape to it. unusual part sticking off to the right. It's got a right angle there as well. And these two surfaces are at the same elevation by the looks of it, so could that be carved into this larger piece, these two step-like parts? Rather strange. Another circular pattern, get the way these four parts have been arranged around that center hole there. More geometry on top of that piece. It looks like a pumpkin seed. Check out the outline there. It's a very symmetrical object. More objects with protrusions or knobs in them. Strange conical feature in the center of that object with two smaller parts on either side. Look at the equal spacing between those. There looks like a slot or an opening, like a vent. That edge there is parallel to this one. And this narrow rectangular block is arranged parallel to this one side. Now you've got a right angle. And then over to the other side, a little conical piece sticking up off that there. Here's another little triangle on top of this piece. Get that slot in this one side. Another disc. It's about 10 meters in diameter. And then more parts with smaller objects in their centers. Check out that disc, a little triangular part on top of it, right there in its center. Another right angle to this piece. There's a similar part, a bit smaller. So blocks. Another half a disc, a small protrusion in its center. Got this strange design, right angle there. Then this looks like a flattened dome or another disc, very similar to this one. It's just a little bit smaller. Rectangular piece with bevels cut onto it. Check at the parallel lines to that, guys. Looks like a hole over there, something sticking out of it. Even over here we've got two what look like little openings on the right of that smaller part. Another triangle on top of this piece, and they're mostly arranged parallel with the one side. That long narrow part looks like another one of those obelisk type anomalies, toppled over, or maybe it fits into this L-shaped structure. It's also got small designs on it. There's a little V shape, got two circular designs there. And this we've seen quite often as well. Two larger parts, the smaller part bridging the gap between them. Rectangular piece there, arranged parallel to this larger part, a 90-degree angle there, and then two very small circular parts on the one side of this smaller object. There again, two larger parts with a smaller object bridging the gap between them. You've got arrangement again, three smaller objects in a circular arc design there. One of those long narrow pieces looks like an obelisk lying on its side. There again, a little triangle top of a larger object. The right angle to that as well. Huge disc, about 14 meters in diameter, maybe consisting of two separate parts. And then on top of it we've got a little cube right in its center. Another disc with a small protrusion or knob on it, right there in its center, folks. And this seems to be wedged into the surface underneath this, what looks like part of a wall or maybe a structure, but check out the blocks there, still next to one another. Looks like a piece of wreckage. Small object with a little part in its center there. This part seems to be carved out, got right angles going on there. Okay, more parts with smaller objects in their centers. Another triangular pattern in that design. Look at the way those have been placed. Got a triangular design to that part. It's what looks like a hatch on it. That looks like a hole in the center of this piece. And this sort of design we see quite often as well. Looks like those megalithic blocks down in the reds of South America with protrusions on them. Again, look at the part over here. That looks like a vent or a hatch. Get the arc on this one side. This looks like a metallic structure. There we've got another smaller triangle on that part. Check out this piece. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. And that we see quite often on Mars as well. 5 or 6 sided objects. Another long narrow piece there. The design on this part looks like a small block on top of it. Parallel edges to that. There we go, another one of these designs with a protrusion or knob on it. It's also rather strange. This square surface feature, it seems to be cleaned out, revealing the darker surface material underneath. It's also very unusual. Doesn't look like a typical impact crater. Another half a disc. And they're all about the same size, varying between 10 and 12 meters across. That there, 3 objects top of that, parallel to this side, 3 objects there, parallel to this side, 3 smaller objects there, on what looks like another one of these plectrum or pumpkin seed shaped objects. There looks like a piece of metal lying on top of that there. some type of wreckage perhaps, who knows. More objects with smaller parts placed in their centers. Now we've got two similar blocks, protrusions on them still arranged next to one another. Two protrusions there, two over here on this one. So we either have 1, 2 or 3, and then we've also got circular patterns. Rather weird. It looks like these two objects fit together, get the angles there. One, two, three, 4 sides, equal angles there. Multiple stepped artifact over here. This we see quite often as well. Two narrow parts next to one another. Looks like a block. Look at the shadow it casts with 90-degree angles to it. Look at that part. It's oval object on top of this. It's got right angles there. Two more of those smaller blocks with protrusions on them next to one another. Very similar to those we had a look at earlier. Let's just look at those again. There. Compared to that. There's the smiley face. This rounded object with strange smaller parts in it. But like a triangle there. This looks like a little cross lying on top of this. Another one of these plectrum or pumpkin seed shaped objects there. This looks like an old-fashioned cannon, doesn't it? A round disc part there, this rectangular piece coming off the one side, and in its center it's got that little cone or conical part. Got many blocks there in a row still, same size. Check that out. Right angles going on here in this piece. And that there looks like a hole in this object. Could that there be the hatch that covers it? Who knows? Check there, hole right in the center of that object. Okay, it's a pity you can't see it here, but this looks like a huge propeller covered in sand. It's got two blades on either side with a round part in the center. Right, there it is, folks. You get the symmetry in this design. You've got 5 blocks still tightly packed next to one another in that circular pattern going on there. And then this is a rather strange piece. Looks like the way you fold a serviette or a hanky. A triangle there, another one over here. Right, let's go to the top right hand corner. Got 3 objects there next to one another. Each one's got small parts on it. Looks like a piece of metallic debris. Got a hole there in it. And then this. What's going on there? Could that be some type of structure? An L shape there. Looks like these have been stacked on top of one another. Let's go down to the bottom left quadrant. Got a little square item there, with a narrow rectangular part on top of it. The way this seems to be carved into this object. It's got a right angle there, and the bevel seems to be parallel to this one side. It's got a small part sitting there on top of it. That piece. Now the block looks like it has a hole right there in its center. That hole there is about 1.5 meters in diameter, by the way. That V-shape slot cut into this piece. And then directly across it we've got that part. Maybe that fits into there. Who knows? There's another one of those blocks with a hole in it, similar to that, and that there looks like a lid that fits on top of it. Who knows for sure? There's another triangular pattern on this. Got a huge triangular block. Found 3 of these that are very similar in size and shape. Look at the small hole right there in its center as well. This is a rather unusual part. Maybe this is some type of technology. Look at the straight edge there. Parallel to it, we've got another straight edge there, partly covered in sand. But joined to this one side, we've got this rounded spherical object. Don't know what that is. Check at this oval object over there. This is about 18 meters across, if I can recall correctly. And it's got a strange skirt around it. Looks like this could be open around the edges, and then it's got a strange pattern on top of it. 3 dark spots going on there, 3 going across here, and then 1 off here to the side. Looks like a flying wing. It's also rather strange. Another one of those oval objects with a strange skirt or something around it. So blocks over here. Let's check that out again. The similarity. Another block. Huge megalithic block that. This looks like wreckage. Some sort of metal maybe. Look at the way it's bent. And that strange pyramidal part that there's about 12 meters across. 3 flat sides to it. And then a right angle there. Could this be a little vent? It's parallel with this one side. Don't know, that could be natural, folks. Another one of those half a dome shaped objects on this one. This edge is parallel to that. Another half a disc. More discs. More discs, folks. Check that out. Looks like a crescent moon shape to that. The way this has been machined out or carved out, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller objects in a row there with equal spacing between them. Right in the center on that one, got that bright dome, 4 dark spots around it, more blocks. There looks like a broken shell, those edges on it. This is a funny design, very symmetrical, got 2 rounded parts there, straight sides here, and then the rounded part to the front. Almost like a spearhead or something, arrowhead. 3 objects there in a row, and then something's going on here on this side as well. Looks like an opening on that part. Look at the way these smaller objects have been arranged around it. Two larger parts, a small bridging part over there. This looks like a type of a vent, maybe even a pillbox design. There looks as if it's open. Very metallic, the way it seems to be bent. Strange wedge shape there. More blocks arranged around that there. 3 smaller parts in a row on top of that. Two larger parts next to one another, the small bridging part in the center. Yeah, as well, next to this one, we've got 3 objects there in a row. Very weird. Another block partially covered in sand and dust. We've got a smaller rectangular part on top of this one. Straight edges, right angles, and it's parallel with this one side. And then coming off this larger piece, we've got it like a ramp and the flat part there. I don't know what that is. Wreckage? Who knows? More blocks. Right angles again, folks. This is also rather strange. Look at the shape. It's very symmetrical. Some type of craft, who knows? Long narrow part on top of this, parallel with this side. Another one of those jagged edges on this object with right angles to it again. 2 protrusions on that one, parallel with this side. Alright, let's go to the bottom right hand quadrant. Found a rather weird disc shape there. You can't really see it so well here, but we've got spirals. Very similar. Doesn't look like a typical dust devil track. And here we've got multiple blocks of about the same size each, arranged next to one another in rows. Check that out there. Got 2 blocks here and a larger one on top of it. I'd expect a crack if this was natural to go through there as well, but it doesn't. Okay, more blocks over here. The way this one's placed next to these, so if it was natural, there'd be a crack all the way through that. Same over here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks in a row there, 2 larger ones on this side. So if a natural crack was to occur, it would go through this one, but it doesn't. Same over here as well. So we've got 2 larger ones, and next to each we've got 2 smaller ones. Cut to fit, like brickwork here on Earth. That's a weird item over there. It's like a dome shape with a small part here to the right. Get the design to it. You've got right angles to it. Looks like a little opening over here. Another small rectangular part on a larger rectangular piece. The right angles there, and this is parallel to that one side. Very similar to a previous one I showed you. Get the design here with these 2 objects fit together as well. A little pyramid there in the center of that part. More blocks. Get the symmetry going on here. We've got 3 in a row there. Next to it, another 3 in a row there. Like cairn here on Earth. 3 in a row there, parallel to it, another 3 in a row there. Get that row of objects. And that's repeated over there. Another disc wedged in between blocks. This looks like pattern that's been laid out nicely for us there on the surface, only visible from the air, of course. Four blocks next to one another. Get the gap there. Forms a perfect cross. A little spherical object top of that part. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides to it. Straight edges on that part. Protrusion, the knob there. And then look at the way these have been arranged. Yeah, again we've got 3 in a row there, and parallel to it another 3 in a row. This block with a small dome on it, right there near its center. There again we've got two larger parts, a small part bridging the gap. Disc, the sphere next to it. It's another square pattern there. Look at the cross. Four more blocks, next one another, the cross over there, in that gap, the cross shape I mean, more blocks in rows, same size. Three there, three there. That's a strange design. They look like they're diagonally placed to one another across this square pattern. There again, three in a row, three in a row. A right angle going on there. Alright, yeah, we've got another plectrum or pumpkin seed shaped object. Look at that. This side here is partially covered in sand and dust, but check that out. Another row of similar objects going across there. Check that out. Three there, three over here next to it. Two. Three in a row here, two there and two here. Rectangular part, a small hole in its center there. Similar ones going on here. Another one of these strange designs, like a plectrum shape, L-shaped piece lying on top of it. The rectangular opening in this piece. That there again looks like a hatch on top of this. This is intriguing. Another one of those jagged edges over there. But on this one side, got like a step, parallel edges. What do you think of the similarities in those anomalies, folks? Do let me know in the comments below. Let's have a chat there. Much appreciated. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye bye for now.